Hello, welcome back, and you're very welcome if you're new. I have been quite busy recently and I've been scribbly planning and not properly planning, so I need to do some catching up, and I'm going to start with week 39, which is the 22nd to the 20th of September. And because it's the first week of autumn, well, Monday is the first day of autumn, the 22nd, I decided to do Autumn Foxes. This is one of my favourite autumnal collections from Hubman and Chubgirl. It's very cute. So I had some leftovers from last year, plus I had a mini kit. So let me quickly show you what I have. So I'm going to start off by putting down the full layout, and then I'll go one day at a time putting in the plans.
Hey, I wish you could see yourself just sitting there on my chair. I'm staring at you, you don't even notice. Should've told you straight away, you don't have to be afraid anymore. I know you haven't noticed. You know that I won't let you go. Put your arms around me and I'll let you know how it feels when time goes slow. And I won't let it rush when I see you dance, and the moment comes when I fall and time goes slow. I fall into you. I fall into you. Hey, I wish I could show you more, 'cause baby you deserve some more. But still you're here and that's what I adore. Should've told you straight away everything I have to say, but I'm afraid and I know you haven't noticed. You know that I won't let you go. Put your arms around me and I'll let you know how it feels when time goes slow. And I won't let it rush when I see you dance, and the moment comes when I fall and time goes slow. I fall into you. I fall into you.
So Monday the 22nd was the first day of autumn officially, even though it has felt like autumn for weeks now. But I used my little Coffee Monsterz Co event label to mark that. And then my husband Stephen got up early in the morning, made me breakfast, cup of coffee, and headed off to Liverpool. But the point of the trip was to meet other pigeon fanciers, which is his hobby, with him and his dad and stuff. And I just decided to save my annual leave because I don't have loads of it left and I'm off at the end of October. And I wanted to focus on decorating. So I had a whole dilemma with my haul, trying to choose a colour in the middle section of the haul. So there's like the ceiling, a middle section which I had painted a colour called Perfectly Taupe, and then a lower section that is all wooden panels that I painted a colour called Graphite, which is a dark grey. But it's been a few years since I painted it and it is just covered in stains, and when I try to wipe it, it makes it worse. And honestly the colour was bugging me anyway. And I had some leftover paint in a colour called Terra Ombra that was from my haul. And I decided, you know what, I'm just going to paint it. And it'll give me something to focus on whenever he's away. So on the Monday, I painted the ceiling, the first coat on the midsection, and then I tried adding on edging. So there's glass above the doors, like an old-fashioned way of having a glass pane and then the door. And there's also glass within the kitchen door and the living room door. But it's not real glass, it's plastic, and I repainted our doors, and with far too many other things to pay for in the house. And there's like bits of paint on the edge where the doors had been painted white previously and either not masking taped, or the masking tape was there but left on and completely stuck, and I had to use Goo Gone to get it off. And anyway, it's a whole big thing. So I decided to use a plastic film, another one of those like privacy films you put over glass, and see if it'll make it look better. And then I got like an edging band to put over the edge to cover the paint because it will not come off. And basically I put plastic primer because it's made of a plastic material on it, and then I painted it the same colour as the door and tried to stick it on, and it was a complete fail. So I'll have to keep trying with that. But anyway, that's what I spent my Monday doing. And it was a good distraction, to be honest, with him leaving, because if I had just sat about and had nothing to do, I would have missed him far too much. Anyway, so I am now marking the Liverpool trip. I just thought I would mark that in one go. So we left on the Monday, then he came home on the Thursday. So I used 2 stickers from the kit and a Tombow marker. I only did the lower haul because it is a huge thing to take on, and I didn't want to try to make myself do it all at once, because the last time I did it I painted the whole midsection, lower and upper, and the stair part and everything, and thought, no Ruth, just do it one step at a time, because I was feeling a bit overwhelmed. And now that I'm talking to you, I have finished, but that particular week that we're memory planning, I only did the lower haul. Anyway, yes, so that was what I did on the Monday. On the Tuesday, I have a sticker in to mark leaving out the bins, which I had to do myself because that's usually Stephen's job. I survived. And then I had a hair appointment at 4:30 because I had to cancel one that I had in August. I had quite a lot of expenses in August. Well, it was by choice because I chose to do a nail tech course. But then there's just quite a lot of birthdays and things happening and other stuff I had to buy. So there's actually some kits that I would have really have loved to get from Hubman and Chubgirl, and I'm going to go back and get it. Like their Halloween kit for this year is like a little witches theme, and it's so cute. But I think I'm going to have to wait till my October payday to get it, and it probably won't be here on time, so I'll need to use it next year. But it doesn't matter, I have plenty of stuff that I can use for now. It's the same with their autumn release, and it's so cute. This is last year's, the autumn foxes, but I can go back and get them another time, like I said. Anyway, I've gone off on a tangent. I went to get my hair done because it was the only appointment I could get because I cancelled my August one, and I had to walk down to the hairdressers and walk home, so thankfully it didn't rain. Our car broke down months ago and we left it into a mechanic, and it's just been sitting there waiting for a part. But to be honest, it's going to be a write-off. Either we'll get the part and sell it or just scrap the whole thing. So my husband's able to drive his mum and dad's car, and that's how I get places. But because he was gone, I had to walk. But anyway, yeah, it wasn't that far away, and thankfully it didn't rain. But that was in the evening. During the day I painted the second coat of the midsection in the lower hall, and then I did 2 coats of the walking up the stairs part, if you know what I mean, in our hall. It was the worst. My husband is like Shakes the butler, like, you know, the wee dude in the Tomb Raider games that me and my sisters used to purposely lock in the fridge. That's terrible. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I'm sorry, I don't know how else to describe it, but it was like coming up the stairs with a cup of coffee, and he might as well have just chucked it over the stairs. Anyway, I was able to get that all painted and freshened up, and then head off for my hair appointment. Then on the Wednesday, I noted down which bins they are. I cleaned the downstairs. I still had touch-ups to do because we recently got our doors put back on and parts of it had been caulked, and then also I had got splashes of paint from rolling on the midsection. So I decided to clean everything first and wipe down all the wood and wipe down all the doors before I tried to actually paint. I just thought that made sense. And it was annoying me how much of a sight the downstairs of our house had become. So I cleaned it up and I put on a wash, and that was my Wednesday. Thursday then, Stephen came home and I didn't actually feel like doing much. I was intending to do those touch-ups on the paint, but I didn't bother. I decided instead to do my nails. I actually have 3 certificates and I'm trying to earn my 4th, which is like an advanced card gel type thing. And I have to send 5 case studies. But I'm trying to find a range of soft gel colours that I can get because I want to get the whole range of it and have different colour options to offer people to get their nails painted. And I bought one in black from a company and my word, I hated it. I hated the consistency and I ended up ruining the nails. I don't know if I did something wrong or whatever, but it was a complete fail. I did one hand and then I sat and removed it and had a moment of, oh my word, I'm terrible at this, and then snapped myself out of it and thought, that's what practice is for. Move on, Ruth. Anyway, on the Friday then, I did do my lower hall touch-ups. So I did the wood parts of the lower hall and I did the frames of the doors, which are all the same graphite colour, in 2 coats. And then I also painted the doors of their touch-ups, which is called Torch Grey, I think. And I did 2 of them. And also my mum and dad popped in because I wasn't going to get to see them over the weekend, and they wanted to give me my birthday money and card, and it was nice to see them. So that was Friday, and then on Saturday I got my Tesco delivery first thing in the morning because I was going out and wasn't sure what time I would get back, because I was meeting up with my friends at our favourite little coffee bar and didn't want to have to worry about rushing home to get the shop. And it was really nice to just get out of the house and just sit and chat and get caught up with them. Then whenever I came home, I did 2 loads of washing, and I also marked in that I weighed in first thing that morning and took my meds. And then on the Sunday I did some journaling, but apart from that I had a lazy Sunday and did absolutely nothing, and it was a lovely little end to my first week of autumn. So I planned this on the 30th of September, which was my birthday, and week 40's kit hadn't arrived. I ordered it from Coffee Monsterz Co. So I just left it hoping it would arrive, but by Saturday it hadn't arrived, so I decided just to go ahead and plan for week 41. But before I did that, I had this little space to fill in, so I just printed a free digital. Free downloads come with a subscription, so this is actually from the Woodland Mushrooms theme from last year. As Autumn Foxes wasn't a subscription, it was a special collection, but it works well. And I just put a little green shape over the top of it and wrote, "Leaves are falling, autumn is calling." So anyway, yes, so it's Saturday the 4th, and I'm just going to work on week 41, which is the 6th to the 12th of October. And in October, I like to do some fun themes that are either fancy dress related, Halloween related. I love doing spooky cute, and this Red Riding Hood collection falls into the fancy dress sort of fairy tale side of it. And I thought it would be a good introduction before I moved into the spooky cute stuff next week. I'm just quickly showing you everything I'm working with. I have plenty, and I had hardly any plans to put in advance this week. So let's just put down the whole layout and a couple of plans that we need, and then that'll be it, ready to go.
First time I saw you, I was so nervous to talk. Happened so fast, went from so lonely to falling asleep in your arms. I used to be afraid to fall in love. My past relationship was a disaster, but now I don't care. 'Cause you took my scars, bruises and broken heart, numbed all the pain, showed me how to heal, and now I don't feel broken anymore. Your smell wrapped in my bedsheets, don't wanna wash it away. I know sometimes I get too caught up in all of the wrong things, but you're always there to guide me. I used to be afraid to fall in love. A past relationship was a disaster, but now I don't care. 'Cause you took my scars, bruises and broken heart, numbed all the pain, showed me how to heal, and now I don't feel broken anymore. I used to be afraid until I met you. I was insecure, caught up in the pain, but you showed me how to heal. Took my scars, bruises and broken heart, numbed all the pain, showed me how to heal, and now I don't feel broken anymore. Numbed all the pain, show me how to heal, and now I don't feel broken anymore.
22nd for you guys, but for me it's been nearly a week. It is now Friday the 10th, and yesterday my little order arrived, so I'm going to get planning, or memory planning rather, week 40. So let me just quickly show you what I ordered. I just literally ordered the stuff that I needed for this week.
Say something like you love me and make my day, like you always do, like you always do. Hold my hand and look me in the eyes so I can tell you how I feel, tell you how I feel. Every day something new. If I spend it with you, with you, with you. Oh, I want you right now, and I need you right now, you right now. My world is spinning round, round, around. Oh, I want you now. Spinning round, 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 and I want you now, and I want you now, and I want you now. How you move and what you do has made me so crazy about you now. I look at you, you make me blind. Why do you have to be so beautiful all the time? I know I can't be with you. It's killing me to see you with someone else. What to do? Now I'm in the corner and watching you smile, watching you smile. And I can't get over you, I'm losing my mind. All of the things that I wish I could tell you, every time when you're passing me by, I fall in love. There's something about you, I wish you were mine. And if I only could be there to hold you, it feels like I stop breathing when you're around. I'm in love, there's something about you, I wish you were mine. So many times I wanted to put my arms around you just to be close to you. And in my head. It's just you and I don't know why I feel this way. Now I'm in the corner and watching you smile, watching you smile. Now I can't get over you, I'm losing my mind. All of the things that I wish I could tell you every time when you're passing me by, I fall in love.
So, on Monday, I put up some quote-unquote stained glass. It's a film that looks like stained glass on the two, rather than the part that goes above the doors, if that makes sense. I'll show you my completed haul at some point if you'd like to see it, and maybe this will all make sense. But anyway, I did that, and then I also filmed and planned for October, which you'll have saw already. I'll link it below if you missed that. And then as well as that, I practiced my nails. I did case study 3 and 4 because I put on really long extensions and did hard gel, and then I cut them off and shaped them down to a squared shape and then sent that off as case study 4. I have 5 to do, and the nails that I have in this video is actually case study 5. I just sent a picture off, so fingers crossed I will get my certificate soon, and that'll be the end of that. Anyway, and then the last thing I did was walk the dog with the Hubster.
Fall in love, there's something about you, I wish you were mine. And if I only could be there to hold you, it feels like I stop breathing when you're around. I'm in love, there's something about you, I wish you were mine.
Tuesday then was my birthday. I could have swore I had a birthday event label from Coffee Monsterz Co, but I didn't. I also don't have any birthday countdown stickers this year, which I also could have swore I had, but oh well. Instead, to mark my birthday, I used this sticker from Hubman and Chubgirl. It's really lovely, I love their birthday collection. And then in relation to plans, we didn't really do anything because it was just another day. It's not a milestone birthday or anything, and yeah, I was working all week and didn't take any time off or anything. But anyway, I left out the bins, and then during lunch and after lunch I filmed, edited, scheduled and captioned, and I memory planned the 22nd to the 28th, which is the autumn fox that you saw at the start.
I wish you were mine, 'cause every time you pass me by, I fall in love, I fall in love. All of the things that I wish I could tell you every time when you're passing me by.
And then on Wednesday I wrote which bins were to be put out, and thankfully Stephen's back and can take his job back, so we put out the black wheelie and the food. And then I got started in my upper hall by painting the midsection 2 times and priming the little plastic bit around our roof space. I don't know why there's a plastic bit around the edge of our roof space, but there is. So I put 2 coats of primer on it. And then we walked Cody that day again. And then about 8 o'clock or so, my sister-in-law popped in for a nice wee visit. So that was Wednesday. And then on Thursday, I actually went into the office. I normally go on a Wednesday, but I just didn't want to and had no particular area meeting or anything. So I went in on Thursday instead. And I was intending to come back and do more work in the upper hall, but my head was so sore, and I have felt for weeks now like a cold is coming on. Do you ever just get that feeling like it's there and you feel like you're going to get it, but it never really develops? I've had that for days now, and I've been taking Lemsip. Yeah, but anyway, so I had a headache, so I did come home and paint 2 coats of the graphite on the roof space, on the plastic part, over the top of the primer, because I had taken the door off and I wanted to get the door back on sooner rather than later, and that needed overnight to dry. So I went ahead and did that and did nothing else the rest of the day. did have quite a productive day. I continued working in the upper hall by painting all the graphite parts, so that's all the wood parts, the edges of the doors, although it wasn't as bad as downstairs. And then I did touch up on the doors themselves. And I cleaned my house, I did a wash, I updated the grocery app, and then as well as that I painted biab on my nails, so I cut them down and they were looking a bit worse for wear because I've done so many different things to them so close together. So I decided to put just a bit of biab on them and leave them for a bit until doing my last case, because I was waiting on something to arrive in the mail and that would make them presentable until then. On Saturday then, I was intending to go and see my mum and dad because I hadn't seen them for 2 weeks, but two things happened. One, my mum unfortunately got COVID and had to isolate, and she's all clear now, which is good. But two, Storm Amy hit on Friday night and was still raging on Saturday, so I wouldn't have went out anyway, even if that hadn't happened. So I spent the day in the house. And I did some filming and planned my Little Red Riding Hood plan with me, which you saw, and brought in my Tesco delivery at 4, took my medication and weighed in, and apart from that I had pretty much a very quiet rainy day in kind of day. And then on Sunday I journaled and did absolutely nothing else. So I just filled that all in with some of the little doodles. Now I am all caught up and ready to go. I actually today as well planned for next week, which is the 13th to the 19th, and it was my first spooky theme for the year, but you will see that really soon. But for now, I hope you enjoyed hanging out today and seeing me catch up, and hopefully it motivated you if you got a bit behind to catch up yourself. And take care, and I'll speak to you really soon. Bye!
Been walking round in circles, wondering where to start.